Welcome to my podcast where I talk about all things related to money mindset, finance, business, and investing. My name is Royston Cumberbatch, a qualified accountant with over 30 years experience in finance and business. Coming from a very humble background, I have continuously challenged the assumptions and the expectations of what I'm capable of achieving for myself and others. Over the years, I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs to decipher finance and to make more money and to run highly successful businesses. On this podcast, I will share with you tips, strategies, techniques, and tools that you can use to make more money, manage money better, and to maximize your success. Wow, welcome to Femmie. Femmie Evans, it's so good to have you today on the Financial Intelligence Mindset podcast. After meeting you and speaking with you on Clubhouse, you're so full of energy, and you're coming all the way from Atlanta today. Actually, this podcast, by the way, is listened quite a lot in USA. So I'm sure a lot of the US people will be lovely to hear your voice. I'll be happy to hear your voice and you can share some gems for them. So to get started, Femmie, just tell us about, you. Tell us about you, your backstory, and maybe how you got into become an accountant.
Okay, great. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity to be on here with you. My name is Femmie Evans, as he already stated. My background is definitely very interesting. So I am the daughter of a diplomat. My dad is the ex-consul general of Guyana. I'm also a serial entrepreneur here in Atlanta, Georgia. I have a couple different things that I do. First, I have my own accounting firm. I've had that for 10 years. It's tax season, so definitely try to reach out to me. Okay. And then also I have my own athletic apparel line. I'm also a paralegal. I'm a notary. So I carry a lot of different hats. My main focus right now is on tax season, and that's what I'm doing. Now, in regards to how I became an accountant and being in this industry, literally what happened is about 11 years ago when I moved to Atlanta, I did my tax return. And a friend of mine, it was tax season, and he was just like, did you do your taxes? And I was like, yeah, I did it. Told him how much I got back. And he was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I got back. And he was just like, can you do my tax return? So I was just like, okay. Back then I had a regular 9-to-5 job. So I was just like, I'll do his taxes. I did it. He got the money back. Then he said, hey, I want to pay you like $70. And I was like, are you sure? He's like, no, I got to pay you. I got back a good amount of money. I'm really happy. Then he called me a couple of days later after he was bragging to somebody else that he just did his taxes. So they were like, can you get her to do my taxes? And I was like, okay. So he called me. He's like, can you do somebody else's tax? I was like, I don't know, that might be a little crazy. But what ended up happening after that is him referring 40 people. And that is how my tax business got started. So
Wow. It's a great start.
I did my regular 9-to-5, not even 9-to-5. I used to do 12-hour days at work. On the weekends, I'd set up my living room like a little office setting, and I'd have everybody come in, and my days off were consumed with me doing taxes. I decided I really loved it. And after a couple of months for that tax season, the next tax season, that was my last year working a regular job. Wow.
So Femmie, a couple of things I want to ask you about, right? So you said when you came to Atlanta 11 years ago, I believe that you're from a Guyanese background. So can you tell us, when you were growing up in Guyana, in terms of money, finance, family, what were some of the money beliefs your family had and around acquiring wealth and stuff in Guyana?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so my dad was very strict on me. My upbringing started long before the money talks. In kindergarten, when everyone else's parents walked them into the classroom, my dad stood at the door. He said, you go on, got this. The teacher was looking at him like, sir, what are you doing? She's in kindergarten. He was like, no, I know her. She can do it. So a long time ago, my dad kind of set the precedence for me to be a leader and to be extremely independent. So he set the bar very high. And in terms of money, my family, I grew up in a 4-story house in Guyana.
Wow.
My family came from a wealthy background. It was inherited, our ancestors inherited it. So we ended up getting it. My parents, the house that they have has been passed down generation after generation. My parents, hopefully no time soon, when they do pass away, I will inherit what they have, and they
Lucky
definitely
you.
a lot that I will be inheriting. So yeah.
Very cool. So before we go on to your Atlanta side, so what does wealth means to you? What does wealthy means to you? And can you compare, like, say, being wealthy versus rich? Well, what does that mean to you? Wealth versus riches.
Okay, so what wealth means to me, wealthy versus rich. I feel like wealth is going to be something that I am remembered for generations to come. So, for example, my investment property, that's going to be something that years after I'm gone, generations later, I'll be talked about and someone will say, she left this for us and we did this with it. Being rich, I feel like anyone can be rich for a particular period of time. I feel like wealth is something that has to be maintained. It's not something fly by night.
Yeah, I love it. I always say to people, like, not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep, right? So we know people can be temporarily rich, right? For example, like they can win the lottery, you know what I mean? So what you're saying here to me is that wealth is something that is more generational. And, I listen to a lot of motivational speakers. Tony Robbins said, wealth is of the mind. Wealth is of the mind. If you think you're wealthy, you are wealthy. I think, and it's probably true, right? And if I'm also a Christian, and I think in Proverbs, it says, a wise man is a wealthy man, right? So if you're smart with your money, then obviously you're on the road to be wealthy. So cool. So then you left Guyana and then you went over to Atlanta. Wow. And
no, I left and I went to New York.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I lived in New York for a very...
So tell us about, because what you mentioned earlier that you moved from your job and then you were doing like part-time, you were doing your accountancy stuff, and then you transitioned to your business full-time now, right? So how was that transition? How was that journey? And then what made you go into the full-time running your own business?
Okay. So for me, I worked a regular full-time job. I was a manager at the company I worked for. So I did not have a bad job. I had a great 401k plan. I actually had well over, $15,000 to $20,000 in my 401k when I left. I promised myself one thing, that the day I got to the point where I felt stressed at work, I will walk away. If I got to the point where I was in tears and I just felt so overwhelmed that I could not do it anymore, I was going to leave. But prior to leaving, what I did, I prepared myself. I already had my tax office set up. I already had software. I already had everything in place ready for tax season. I already had money that I had pulled out of my 401k, so I wouldn't be struggling looking for money. So I planned it out before actually making that transition. What happened is a customer came up to me and asked me just a simple question. And for some reason, it was bringing me to tears. So it was a simple question. And I remember I used to go to work, but I had my office keys in my pocket and I would just touch the office keys all the time. So I helped the customer, and then I went to the bathroom and I called my cousin. I used to call her every time I felt frustrated at work. And I said, "Cuz, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to do this anymore." She would always kind of talk me off the ledge. And she said, "I want you to go ahead and go. I want you to go ahead and go." And she pretty much told me that she wanted me to go ahead and make the transition. I had prepared and time to do it, so I needed to just go ahead and go. And that's what I did. I left the keys on the counter. I placed my office keys there, and I literally walked out the door. The other manager on duty asked me if I was going to lunch, a late lunch. I said no. She asked me would be back. And I said no, and I never looked back. I got in my car and I left.
So you fired the boss, right?
Yes, I did.
If someone's going to start a business right now and they're currently in a job and they're looking to transition into the business, how would you advise them to go about it? Would you advise them to do it like the way you did it? Like, for example, to just fire the boss, or would you advise them to have a certain amount of money or plan it out, etc.? How would you advise someone to transition, say, from employment to becoming an entrepreneur?
I would definitely advise someone to take your time. I had a business name. I'd already registered my business. My business structure was already there. I had plans on hiring employees. So take your time. Don't just quit your job and say, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. That's not realistic. Make sure that you have a safety net, because once you make the transition, there's pretty much no turning back. And once you step away, sorry about the background noise.
That's all right. It's all right.
Once you step away from whatever you're doing, what ends up happening is there's a shift in your mind. Now you're no longer depending on a paycheck every 2 weeks. Now it's a situation where you literally are having to depend on yourself, and you have to do everything, produce the income. So I would recommend to everyone to take your time, make sure this is something you really want to do. You will have more broke days than days you're making money, depending on the industry you choose to go into. Roy, a lot of people are not blessed like we are, where we're going into an industry that immediately, as soon as you start working, you're making money off of your person. So we're definitely in a different type of industry. You know what I mean? And what I always tell people, follow your heart, do what makes you happy, but just make sure you think about what you're doing. And
of course,
before you walk away, that's the only option you have, and you just can't do that job anymore. That would be.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I remember when I was an employee, one of the guys I used to work with, he said to me, look, you can become wealthy as an employee, right? If you move up the ladder, like you have a good pension, good benefits and all that kind of stuff. But I think ultimately people have to find their purpose, right? I mean, sometimes people say the two best days are the days you're born and the days you find your purpose. So if you're doing a job, but it's not aligned with you, your purpose, your values, what you want to do, then it's done for you as an individual to go and find your purpose, right? So that's really important. As you said, it's not an easy journey, you know what I mean? So you definitely have to have the right mindset for that. Okay, cool. So now you sound like you're doing quite a few things. So you said you have your accountancy firm, you have your clothing line, you're a notary public. You're doing all this stuff. So I said you have multiple streams of income, right? So how important would you say it is to have multiple streams of income versus, say, having one stream of income, one main stream of income?
I think it's very important after seeing how this pandemic has played out. I personally, I was lucky enough to start my clothing line before the pandemic. And I'm so glad I did, because the last tax season, my tax season was cut short. Having clients come into the office was no longer an option.
Yeah, deferred, right?
March. So, and then a lot of my clients were, they were calling me saying, hey, I lost my job. I don't know what the situation is going to be. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do my return this year. Just different scenarios that were happening. And I started focusing on my other business and started pouring into that other business as much as I could. And as a result, today I have almost over 13 or 14 brand ambassadors for that business. Definitely a few of the brand ambassadors, some of them have like 100,000 followers, some have 30,000. So there's a range. I'm trying to hit every demographic. I'm trying to pretty much get the brand out there worldwide, and that is CrushFit online. So, and the website is CrushFit.com.
CrushFit, is it CRUSH fit.com?
No, it is KRUSHFIT.com.
Cool. CrushFit.com. Cool. And what do you actually sell? What do you offer?
So I have athletic apparel line for women, and we do offer one dry fit tee for men. So both clothing for men and women.
Cool. And do you use like Spotify or Amazon, or do you use like drop shipping?
I have a shop where I do use drop shipping for some of my items.
Cool. And if someone is looking to get into that kind of area, I mean, how easy it is to start a business? How easy it is to start a clothing line or to start an e-commerce business? I mean, I've had one guy on this podcast. Actually, he's got a business kind of similar to yours. His business is called Femmie.com. And it's a clothing line as well. But if someone is trying to get into e-commerce business, like, do you think it's a growing business right now versus say services, products versus services?
I definitely think products is a growing business. A lot of people are stuck indoors and they're working out at home, so they want the thing to work out at home. Some people have never had workout clothes before, so they want those workout clothes. They want something that's comfortable, that they can kind of lounge in, and then women still want to dress up and look good despite the pandemic or not. So my athletic apparel line is pretty much universal. You can wear it to work out, or if you want to just wear it as an outfit. I have some customers that don't work out at all. They just buy
you just wear it normally as casually, right?
Correct. Casual wear. Yes.
Cool. So Femmie, right? So you seem like, just listening to you, right? It seems like your journey. Normally I said to people, like, life could be like a graph. So for some people it's up and down. For some people it's like just up. Some people it just seems to be just constant. But you seem to have had a gradual kind of up. So what are some of the big money mistakes you say you have made, and why?
Okay. So I would say probably my first year in business. I would say later it didn't become a mistake, but right away I probably didn't need to buy an investment property in my first year in business. I was just eager to kind of jump out the boat. So I didn't want to be patient and wait another tax season and get a mortgage. So I wanted to own the property outright. So I guess at first it felt like a mistake once I got the property and realized, I'm going to have to fix this thing up. I have to go to Home Depot, find out flooring is, crazy amounts of money, and appliances are this amount. So it was a lot of different challenges once I bought the property. But it ended up being a blessing later, but it was a headache at first. I'm not going to lie.
So did it make you money in the end, though? So do you still have the property?
I still have the property. I have had tons of tenants rotate through that property. So, I've been able to make my money back that I've spent to buy the property. So I was able to do that. So yeah, it's definitely been beneficial.
So you're definitely a business owner, investor, right? Cool. So let me ask you a question. I ask people that sometimes. Would you say, as someone who is looking to, say, invest, maybe they're still working as an employee, would you say property or pensions? Which one is better?
I would say property.
And why is that?
Because right now, I just feel like a lot of people are losing money in so many different areas. And I feel like property, you have control of what you're doing. If you have an issue with one property, you can sell one property, keep the rest of your properties. It's the gift that keeps on giving. People are always going to need a place to live. Every new little homeowners are being born, okay, or renters. So it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good business to go into. When I was going to college, one guy, there was running a burial business, right? And he said to me, some of the best business to go in is food, because people must eat, burial, they must die, and houses, of course, they have to live somewhere, right? So, I also believe in actually in investing in properties. Yeah. So, over in Atlanta, so what is it like now? Is property prices rising, or this? Because of COVID, is it rising? Is it stagnant? Is it? What's the market like over there?
My property has increased tremendously since making the purchase. For example, when I purchased my investment property back in 2008, I think it was, I made the purchase. Market had fell. I bought that property for pennies on the dollar in comparison to worth. Now the property, probably in about a few years, that property will be worth well over six figures.
That's great. Yeah. So basically what you did is that you were on undervalued property. Is that correct?
Correct. And the even the town that the property's in, it's been changed. So they're in the process of going through like regentrification with that neighborhood. So it was the best decision I could make. I just sat on the property. A lot of people were like, sell it for years. And now they're like, it's a good thing you held on to it. because the market value is so high now that it's like I can get way more than I paid for it if I sold it even right now and make a profit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same kind of position. I know exactly what you're talking about. So one of the properties I bought, I actually lived in it for a while. I still have it. And it's in a kind of area, we call it like an ex-council home, but it's gone up like 300%, like over like 10 years or so, because I don't know, it's just like, obviously it's close to a train line, it's close to the bus line. It's kind of popular area. Well, it's easy commutable. And I heard actually that they're planning to put a tram line through that area. You know what I mean? So that's really good. Yeah. So let's talk about business in the US versus business in the UK. I mean, if someone is looking to start a company in the US, right? So I'm in the UK. If I'm looking to start a company in the US, what are some of the things? I mean, what's the process to start an LLC over in the UK? If I said, okay, I want to do business in Atlanta. Atlanta sounds great. I want to open a company there. I mean, what is the process?
Okay, first you need to go on the Georgia Secretary of State and make sure you look up and see if the company name even exists. That's the first step. Then you have to pay to register that company. It's usually about $150 or upwards to get the company name. Then you need to go to the IRS's website and get your EIN number for that company. And then I recommend getting a business account once you get that information, so that way everything is kind of in play. Now, if you feel like your company you're trying to scale that business to $1 million business, I would recommend you get a trademark attorney and make sure that you can trademark the name before you go public with the name. That way you don't ever have to worry about someone stealing your business name. But pretty much the steps that you need to take. And once you have that set up, you're ready to go. Get yourself an office if you need an office, or do it virtually, and then you're ready.
And of course, if they want to do the taxes, they come to you, right?
Exactly. I'm here to help.
Yeah. So what tax services, what tax services do you actually provide for someone who either starting a business, someone who is starting a business? I mean, what range of services do you provide?
Okay. So first of all, the name of my tax business is FTX Accounting. So you can actually find us on ftxaccounting.com, and that's F as in Frank, X as in xylophone, accounting.com. So I provide basic tax returns, so 1040s that can be done, business returns. I have nonprofit clients. I also have churches that come to me. I do have bookkeeping clients that need their 1099s prepared or W-2 forms prepared. So it's a variety of different people. And then some people do come, and that's more on the paralegal aspect. They may come in with a request for me to look over a business document. Some clients come in to get their documents notarized, especially when I was more in an office setting. Yeah. So everyone that floor knew that I was a notary. So literally everyone would be calling, hey, are you free? We'd have somebody here that needs their documents notarized. So okay,
quite a range of services, right?
Yes.
That's great. I know you're mainly online now, or you still have an office, or you got a team?
I'm virtual. In the process right now of hiring several virtual assistants. So yeah. Literally, they should be up and running very soon.
Okay, so you're scaling up?
Scaling up. I'm definitely thinking about doing a big expansion this year also. So that is something that I'm looking into.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. All right. So for someone now going into business from a financial perspective, right, and you as a business owner, I mean, what are some of the key numbers you think anyone in a business? So the person started their business, they obviously have the bank account, they have the tax person, they have all of them in place. I mean, what are some of the key financial things you think that person should really be looking at to really manage the business properly? And I'm asking you this because you are an accountant as well. So I just want to get your view on someone managing a business. What should they really look at?
I definitely think that the person needs to, on a weekly basis, balance their checkbook, just kind of see what's coming in, what's not happening with the business. What's selling and versus what's not selling. Obviously our business is a customer service based business. So once the customers come in, it's the gift that keeps on giving. They're happy. We get paid. We've done a great job for them. So they're good. And that's pretty much it.
Cool. So this podcast is called Financial Intelligence Mindset, right? So what does financial intelligence mindset means to you as a word? Financial intelligence. What does that mean to you? Financial intelligence.
Financial intelligence means to me that you have done the groundwork. You've gone to school, you've gotten the degree, you know what you're talking about. You're not just talking about it from a place of, I have no idea. I've Googled some of the answers. I feel like financial intelligence comes with years of experience. I wouldn't have been able to sit and talk about taxes my first year in business, really, because I was new to it. So I think that takes time. I think financial intelligence also takes time of just learning from others in your industry. For example, I sat under an accountant for an entire year before even starting my business so that I could learn the practical things I needed to learn. And I did not get paid. She told me, if you love this, you do it for free. And I did it for free while working a full-time job, 12-hour days. I did not make any excuses on my days off. She challenged me to come into the office, and she gave me the hardest projects that she had to work on, the most tedious ones with tons of paperwork, the clients that were headaches for her. I did all of that, and I gladly did it. And I was very happy with that experience. And once that particular season was over, she was just like, well, now you're ready. You can go out there.
Cool. Makes sense. Yeah. So basically what you're saying, that for you, financial intelligence is kind of understanding the ropes about how the business actually work.
Correct.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good answer. It's a very good answer. I mean, I always say financial intelligence is to really, to be smart about your money, to understand how money works, understand how business works, and to really make decisions based on information, right? And I guess that comes with experience, you know what I mean? So you make decisions based on your experience, etc. Cool. So Femmie, so if someone is in Atlanta or they're in the USA and they wanted to do the tax returns, etc., where can they find you? I mean, I know you're on Instagram, you're probably on other social media. I know are you on LinkedIn as well? I mean, where can they find you?
They can find me. I'm on LinkedIn. Just look up Femmie Evans, FEMMIE EVANS. I'm also on Twitter. You can find us on Twitter. It says Tax Service LLC on Twitter. You can find us there. Also on Instagram, it says at FTX Accounting. That is our Instagram name. I also have a website, so you can find me at ftxaccounting.com. There's actually a little questionnaire box at the bottom of the website, and you can fill that in if you want to make an appointment and connect with me.
Cool. So lots of places to find you. That's great. So Femmie, before you go, I kind of want to ask you this question, right? It seems like you're in a decent place, you have your own business, you have many businesses, you have your property, etc. I mean, what is your vision? I mean, what do you want to say achieve in the next, 10 years per se? I mean, in your business or in your life, or just what is that big thing that you're probably going after? Maybe look after your family. I don't know. Just tell me more about you. Yeah.
That's a great question. So one of the biggest things I'd like to achieve within the next 10 years is owning my own apartment complex. That's been a dream of mine for a very long period of time. I did have a dream of meeting Oprah. I was able to accomplish that prior to the pandemic.
Wow. Well done.
To meet her in Atlanta. She came down and had an event in Atlanta. So it was great being a part of that event. I got to spend 8 hours with her. So just being a part of meeting her and being in the room with her, that was amazing. And in terms of meeting her, I just mean like being in the room with her,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Being in her space.
Correct. So just being around that energy. What I would like to do within the next 10 years also is scale all of my businesses to millions of dollars.
Wow.
That is my goal. I would like to have at least 50 to 150 employees that are under my organization, that are people that I'm paying on a regular basis. And that's a few things. And then just to leave a legacy of properties behind, so many that, my family will never have to struggle or need for anything, and they will always have a place to live and never be concerned about their well-being or their safety here. So
big vision. It's a big vision. So obviously met you on Clubhouse, right? So let's plug Clubhouse for as we to close this down. I met you on Clubhouse in Genuine Connections, your room. So, but just how are you finding Clubhouse generally, and how do you think Clubhouse might help you to say achieve your vision?
Okay, so thank you for saying that. I do have a room on Clubhouse that's called Genuine Connections. We meet every day from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. In the afternoon. And then I also have a tax tips group at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Roy is a part of that too. He comes in and talks about taxes. But for me, I feel like Clubhouse has been great. I've actually gotten, I'm going to say about 3 clients already from Clubhouse tax season. So I've definitely already made money in terms of being on the site. I think that if you utilize it for the right reasons, if you connect with someone like Roy and other business owners, other millionaires that are on the app, then you will have a great benefit to being on that app. I feel like you can get lost on it if you're not staying business focused. You can end up in rooms that you just shouldn't be in. But if you take the time to focus and your point of view is, I'm on here to network, I'm on here to meet people, I'm on here to really help people, you can do that in a great way. You can have a great impact. And that's about it. All
right. So look, Femmie, man, it's been a pleasure to have you on the Financial Intelligence Mindset podcast. I'm sure that we're going to be connecting soon, either on Clubhouse, and who knows, maybe when you start to make some more millions, or, I'll get you back on the podcast to share your journey. But for now, Femmie, I want to wish you a very, very nice rest of the day. By the way, the times that you mentioned are all U.S. times, right? These are Eastern time. Am I correct?
Correct. Eastern U.S. times. That's correct.
Yeah. That's Femmie's rooms on Clubhouse. I think Eastern U.S. time. Obviously, I'm in the U.K. at the moment, looking to maybe tread some waters soon as well. Who knows? Maybe you see me in the USA.
That would be great.
Yeah, Femmie, look, it's been a heartfelt pleasure connecting with you on Clubhouse and having you on the podcast. And I look forward, and obviously, thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your journey. And I look forward to speaking with you soon. So take care and enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for listening to my podcast. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can find out more about me by Googling my name, Royston Cumberbatch. I'm on all the social media, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You can find me on YouTube as Roy Cumberbatch. And if you are listening on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, or you can find me on my website at www.racmacs.com. That's RACMACS.com. It'd be great to hear from you, and do feel free to tell me about any topics you want me to cover on future episodes. Until next time, be good to yourself and others, keep positive, and reaching for your financial goals. Bye-bye.